Welcome to spiritsearch.guru. This is where you're going to hear some fascinating accounts of paranormal encounters and stories. Sit tight and listen up. If you've had any paranormal experiences yourself that you would like to share on the show, email us at spiritsearchguru@gmail.com. Let's get right into the show. Hey everyone, welcome to spiritsearch.guru. Today we have a wonderful guest who is very excited to be on our show because you know what? These paranormal experiences are real and it's just so exciting to share it with the world. And today we have Andrea to share her story. Are you there, love?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Okay. I'm good, thanks.
Good. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So what I'm going to do is just hand the mic right over to you. I'm going to allow you just to take us right through it. You go ahead.
All right. Okay, so my first story is when I was 18, I moved to a tiny place in southern Ontario called Nairn Centre. And it's literally just a post office and a building and an address. It's nothing else for miles. So I was staying in a very modern built cottage, but the stories that I was told about the original building that was there that burned down was an A-frame cottage. Now this was on Crown land in, like I said, southern Ontario. And they were talking about when they were kids, it was a large family from Sudbury, and when they were kids they camped there all the time, and they had seen ghosts of what they thought were pioneers and a preacher, as well as several Indian ghosts that they had seen, with one in particular had a headdress on. So I'm there with my boyfriend, and we're sleeping in the basement of this cottage. And I woke up, and I remember looking at the digital clock, and it said 3:02. And we were sort of in a corner near a pool table, and there was a fluorescent light over top, and it had that ambient glow. When you turn them off, they have that ambient glow. And I remember looking at that, but right in front of that, hovering like less than a foot from my face, was this ghostly face. And it had long hair and a hat on, which you might see in like a prairie preacher way back, and two hands on either side of its face, and it was right there in front of me, and it scared the living crap right out of me. So I rolled over into my boyfriend, and I don't remember if I stayed awake for a while or if I fell right back to sleep, but I remember it was shocking. And so when I woke up in the morning, I told him the story. So he didn't really say anything until we got to the breakfast table with his parents and his brother. And he said, Mom, Andrea saw a ghost last night. And she looked at him, and she looked at me, and she looked at him again. She said, well, you better tell her. And I'm like, what? Apparently, the night before, John had woken up at 3:02 a.m. and had seen this ghost hovering over me, only he saw the entire body as well. And I remember him grabbing a hold of me and pulling me in to him, and he said that he had done that and told the ghost that he couldn't have me. And then the following night I saw it, so that was something I never ever forgot. That was crazy. So that was way up in the middle of nowhere, northern Ontario.
Wow.
So,
sorry, just to cut you off there for a second.
Yeah.
When you said that the spirit was holding each hand on like a side of his face, was he holding it in a shocked manner that you saw him?
No, like it was like I'm going to get you kind of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember it looked like they were white, like I thought gloves on. But I mean, it could have just been because it was a ghost.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, but it's very vivid.
Okay. Was it kind of translucent, or was it like foggy?
Well, I only saw his face, and it was very, well, again, white with shading, like grayish shading. So I could see where the eyes were in the shape of the nose, and the mouth was in like a grimace almost. Lips closed, and then the hands on either side of the face, but I distinctly remember the hair and the hat as well. Like I said, like a prairie preacher or something, the round brim and everything. So
wow. Okay,
yeah,
that's
it was
interesting.
It was crazy.
Yeah. And what else happened?
Oh, so that's the only story I have from that time. But I was living in, we have a place here in where I live, it's called East City, and my girlfriend, who is very gifted, and she's Indigenous, she brought a bunch of her belongings to my house for storage for a little while, and I had them in my dining area, where I sat in the living room, I could see directly into there where her stuff was, and when the lights were low, you could see all the sparkles coming off of all of her belongings, and sort of just sparkling around on top, and I remember mentioning it to my boyfriend, and he mentioned it to her when she came over another time, and she said, "Oh, those are witch lights." And I went, "What the heck is a witch light?" So she explained it to me, and so I was seeing the witch lights coming off of her belongings.
What is a witch light?
A witch light is it's ancestors that follow you, or it's the spirit of your ancestors. Apparently. So, but what was in her belongings also, which holds very strong power, is her medicine bag, which I wasn't aware of. So that's what the witch lights were actually attached to, was her medicine bag, because it's very strong medicine and spiritual, things that go with the medicine bag and the whole premise behind it. So that was really cool. But at the same time, I'm seeing all these witch lights. I'm also seeing orbs flying through the room, and I was doing a lot of drinking at the time, so I really didn't think that I was really seeing them. But I remember one day one flew across the room in front of me, and then right across the room in the other direction, right directly in front of me. And I looked at my boyfriend and I said, "Did you see that?" And he said, "Yep, I did." So I knew I wasn't seeing things, but there were many instances of orbs flying around at the same time. So I don't know if they were attached or went with the witch lights, but were definitely there at that time. But it was also a 100-plus-year-old house that I was living in. So, I mean, they could have been there before. So,
right. Were the orbs?
That's my witch light.
Were the orbs different colors at all?
No, they were just white. But when I did some research on orbs, I learned that they could be different colors and sizes and everything. So.
Right, and what sizes
really cool.
were these ones?
I'm going to say slightly smaller than a pool ball.
Okay.
They were quite large. Like, I mean, I've talked to other people who have seen orbs, and they said they were like little specks, or maybe the size of a quarter, or whatever. So the ones I saw were quite big, I thought. And they were definitely there, which was really neat. So
yes, definitely.
Anyway, I saw them.
Yeah, I've also heard a few accounts where they're huge, sometimes like basketballs, and like you just said, very colorful. Sometimes red, sometimes gold, and that's amazing that you saw that.
I have to wonder about that too, if that's like maybe what the nature of the spirit that the orb represents. About the color.
Yes, I heard that the colors do represent their character when they were alive. So, red ones represent something, and but the white ones are usually the most common color that people see, and that is, I think, the less shocking for people when they see an orb. It's like, what is that? Oh, okay, that's a light, and they're not sure what it is. But if they see a red ball, I'm pretty sure the spirit would be afraid to freak them out too much.
Maybe.
Maybe. But
that's cool.
Sorry. But go ahead.
That's really neat. Okay, so the other story I have for you is the Shadow Man story, and I have a couple of them. They all go together.
Okay.
But 8 years ago, my mom passed away, and had said to me, I mean, through the years, I'm going to haunt you someday, and if there's a way of coming back, I'm going to, and all, the regular rhetoric. So anyway, I live in a complex that is like townhouses, and it's built in almost a semicircle, and in the center at the one end is a community center, and we use it for multiple uses, but it's also the office that has our landlord and whatnot in there. So I'm coming out of there one day, and I glanced over to my left. I live on the right, but I glanced over to my left, and there was, it looked like just a man standing in front of my girlfriend's door. And I glanced quick, so I looked away, but then I looked back real fast, because I thought, who the heck is that? And it wasn't there anymore. And then I started processing it, and I realized that it was black. Like, the entire form of this person was black, and that they had turned and looked. When I looked at them, they looked at me, kind of. That's the impression I got. Mm-hmm. So I came home, and I sort of thought about that. It was weird. I told my son and whatnot, and a few days later, I'm sitting here in the evening, and the lights are low. I've got, the TV's on and whatnot, and I have, they're called pony walls. They're like half walls with the cutout in the top, between my living room and my kitchen, and the bedrooms are at the back. So when someone comes out of, say, a bedroom or in the back door and into my kitchen, I can see them, like half of them, through these cutouts in the pony wall. So I'm sitting here, and out of the corner of my eye, I can see somebody walk into my kitchen, which is a little galley kitchen, so there's nowhere to go once you get in there, and it's just a little square area. And I'm waiting to hear either the fridge open or a cupboard door, thinking it's my son. And I didn't hear anything, but I know I saw somebody. So I got up and looked, and there was nobody there. Now, that's happened a couple of times. Or I'll see the shadow out of the corner of my eye of somebody walking back towards the bedrooms. Out of nowhere, just it catches your attention because you know there was nobody there. So Christmas Eve, the second year after my mom passed, we had actually set up a Christmas tree with all of her ornaments on it and stuff. It's sort of a memorial thing. And I'm sitting here at Christmas Eve, and I had seen the shadow person a few days prior. My nephew was here, my son. They were in my son's room playing on the video games. And I'm looking at the Christmas tree thinking about my mom, and all of a sudden the tree fell over. It was all secure. There was no movement in it. The animals were all sleeping, which I have many, so I tried to make sure there was none in there. And it just fell over as I was sitting here thinking about my mom. So I actually said out loud, "Okay, Mom, I see you." and went and got my son and my nephew and said, "Look what happened," and told them the story about being the shadow person not too long prior to that. And so they helped me pick it all up, put everything back on it. But that was a really really strong coincidence. So after I had said that, "Mom, I see you," I didn't see the shadow person again for a very long time, like years. I just recently, in about, I'm going to say several months ago, but for a few months in a row, I started seeing them again. Just out of the corner of my eye, and again, just that little glimpse, and you look and there's nobody there. So it started to happen again. I don't know if it's my mom or not, but somebody trying to get my attention, I think. Yeah, so that's my shadow person story. And then there was one more I wanted to tell you. I can't think of what it is.
While you're remembering that, I wanted to ask you a few questions about the shadow man. Now, when you see them, do you have a feeling inside? Do you get anxious? Is there a scent? Or do you notice that maybe the weather is different that day, before or after? Is there anything with you going on that you're noticing that's different at that time? Or even before?
Not necessarily. Well, actually, maybe a little. I might have some heightened emotions. I do. Again, like I thought, the Christmas tree falling over and the shadow person were very coincidental, and that it was possibly my mom. So I was missing her, and coming out of the center that day that I saw the shadow person at my girlfriend's door. I had just come from a counseling session in the center, so there was some heightened emotion there, but nothing that I've really noticed definitively I've always seen spirits out of the corner of my eye. I can never catch them right in front of me. It's always out of the corner. So really, to see a shadow moving and it not be there isn't really new to me. It's just the coincidence or the correlation of the timing, I guess.
Right. I really like how you timed it right down where you said you were at a counseling session about your mom and then, you seen her. Now, I agree with you 100% that it's more than coincidence, and the tree really was your mom saying, hey, and the tree was not smashed. There were no animals in there. Everything was fine. It just fell right down, and you could put it right back up and just fluff it a little bit, and it's fine. And, so I truly believe, I agree with you 100% that is where a spirit would come in and say hi. That's a big interruption, and it's not a huge thing, it was a special occasion type of thing.
Well, the thing too about my mom is that Christmas was her favorite holiday. She just went like crazy Christmas. Every ornament she had in a box got put out. It didn't matter if she had to clear a spot for it or make a spot. It got put out, and it was like Christmas puked in her house. Right. It was crazy, and she loved it. So we didn't do Christmas the first year after she passed because of how sad it was for us. Right. The next year we celebrated. So that's why I think that I thought that was the correlation there.
Definitely. And the fact that she would put every ornament on the tree, that represents a character. Yeah, but you know what? That means every single ornament in that box was special to her. Each one had a story, and she was, and as she's putting it on the tree, she's remembering those stories and where that ornament came from and why leave it. I think that is amazing. So of course, some of them were still from when I was a child, when my brother and I were really small. Making them at school and bringing them home for her and stuff. She still had those. There you go. So the tree was very significant, and by her knocking it over, it brings attention to something that was very important to her. And I think so. Yeah. I also find dimes all over the place, and I mean, I'm probably sitting on one right now, just talking about all of this. I just get a look. No, there's no dimes. But there could be. There might be later. I'll let you know. That's cool. That's how often you find them, eh? It's all the time. I have actually. I take them once a year. That's how many I find. I take them once a year, and I donate them to something like, last year it was the women's shelter, and the year before it was to, like food program for the youth shelter, and another one was for Seeds of Change at this church. So I donate all of them. The one year was $17 in dimes. Wow. That's the most I've gotten so far, but yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. Cool. And what you do with it, you pay it forward. That's amazing as well, I think. Well, I don't think they're mine. That's the feeling I get, that they're not mine. Just like a reminder, kind of. So right, exactly. It just feels like the right thing to do. So. I think that's so beautiful. Yeah. You're welcome. And so the other thing I wanted to ask you about the shadow men, just when you were a child, because you were saying that you've always picked up spirits around you and you're sensitive to that type of paranormal activity and energy, I'm wondering, when you were a child, did you have any occurrences at all? Any encounters or even dreams? I was an extremely introverted, shy child. And I've kind of grown past it was painful. That's how shy I was. So I was very aware of energy, people's energy, moods, sensations, things like that. I don't recall seeing any spirits, but or even remember feeling them. But I know there were places we would go where I would feel an affinity for, like I'd been there before, knowing full well I hadn't been as a child too, right? To sort of recognize that was kind of profound for me, and I would be curious or familiar. I would know, that there were 8 hooks inside of that tiny little closet over there, or there was in the event of my aunt and uncle's house, there was an old farmhouse, and it had the
back stairs from the kitchen. And at the top of the stairs, there was this door, and it looked like a closet, but when you opened the door, there was another hallway down to a secret little bedroom. I knew that was there before I even opened the door. Yeah, things like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you're probably the type of person that, I can sense from you actually that you're the type of person that if you walk into a room and there's a few people there, let's say they're talking about a private matter, and they just want to respect that private matter, when you walk in, you'll be able to sense that tension or there's something going on in the air. Are you that type of person?
Totally. I'm extremely sensitive to energies and people, and what they're putting off. Or I can read people really well, but I kind of chalked it up to having been a very quiet, observant child. So I kind of developed the ability to read people before approaching, sort of.
Absolutely. 100%. I was a shy kid myself until I was around 15 years old. And I don't know.
Oh, no, this lasted till well into my 30s.
Your 30s?
51 right now still.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can now walk into a room full of people and not feel self-conscious and like I want to, just curl up and die. I can do that now. I couldn't. Forever. I couldn't do it.
And just to cut you off for a second, too, and for the listeners, they're probably realizing, just like I am right now, too, it's like, and you probably couldn't go on the radio like this. Look what you're doing. 100 out of the 100% of people who have seen the ad that I put out on Facebook, I got to tell you, and I didn't invest a lot. I put in $1 a day, and I put a 20-day investment, and I was so $20 in total. And I put the ad out, and I said, let's see what this does. And I knew there would be people who would come, and I just got to tell you, out of the 100% that have contacted me privately or on the post, maybe about 40% are willing to tell their story. And out of that 40%, you are one of them. So you must have come a far way from the introverted child to the woman that has bloomed, because, this is the way you're explaining your encounters and your experience is perfect. It's on point. You're not even like, you're just like,
I'm having a conversation with you. I'm trying not to think that this is being recorded and that there's going to be people listening to it later. So thanks for pointing that out to me. So I've actually overcome a lot, so thank you for noticing. I appreciate that very much.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. You're an awesome guest, and I know everyone out there, all the listeners, are going to be thinking the same thing, especially shy people. They're going to be like, wow, okay, because you were painfully shy into your 30s, you said.
I was. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, I know this is about a paranormal show, but I'm also a soul coach, just in general is my what I do. But can I ask you if you have any tips for anyone out there that they might find beneficial to come out of their shyness? Because again, shyness is a thing, right? It's very common.
Counseling. Honestly, just learning how to express myself.
Right.
Because when I was a kid, my father was very overbearing, so I wasn't allowed to express myself. And I'm an extremely emotional person, being female, Aries, and just, growing up with a brother. So yeah, right. So I did a lot of counseling, not necessarily outside of myself. I just a lot of reading, a lot of soul searching, and you have to become confident. That's what it really comes down to. So really, that's all what happened is I just kind of grew into myself, I guess. And my brother called it my and pardon my language, but he called it my "fuck you" attitude.
I love that.
I was good.
Right, I love that. I love that. You know what? That is a book right there. You know, it is, because seriously, Andrea, I gotta tell you, I was, like I said, I was shy to 15, and all of a sudden I broke out of it, and I don't even know what the moment was that I did it. I don't know when it happened. I just danced. I got up and I danced, and I would be at, you know, I remember I was at an event, and my mom's event for her work, and they were having a late afternoon party with music, and I got up and danced. And after I danced, I went back over to the table where my mom's table was, and she said, "Cerise, my gosh, where did that come from?" And I was like,
awesome.
"I don't know, Mom, shh, just be quiet," right?
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, you know, and bam, ever since then, I still dance, even alone in the middle of the dance floor if I have to, if there's no one else on the floor. And so I had that defining moment, and I just say the same thing that you just said. I just say to people, you know what, just have confidence. Other people out there who they're afraid of, they're not paying their bills. We don't breathe for anyone but ourselves.
Well, exactly. I realized, too, that other people have problems just like I do. They have things that they worry about, that, you know, they have self-esteem issues, they have confidence issues, they all think of themselves as not as beautiful or brilliant or bright as other people see them. We are our own worst critics, and as soon as I noticed that I was criticizing myself for things that I perceived people to be seeing about me and realized that they weren't, that's, I think, when it sort of started to happen.
Right. And see, and that's important, when you can actually change your life for the best and feel like, okay, you know what, like you said best, grow into your skin. You grew into yourself. And now you know who you are, you're comfortable with you, and like your brother said, the F you attitude. Like if someone else is not comfortable with you, that's cool. They don't need to be.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. And to accept that is huge. That's a very defining, freeing moment when you realize that you really don't care that much. Right. What other people think. It truly is.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure that, you know, a little bit of alcohol was involved as well. To just take the edge off, to make you feel a little bit less self-conscious. Right. So, to be true. To be truthful.
Okay, so you started to drink at a certain age?
Oh, I was drinking long before that, but it was when I noticed, I think, that it just gave me that little boost. You know, a glass of wine before going to an event, or, you know, having a beer out in the backyard barbecue and not feeling so centered out or something. I don't know how to describe that, but... yeah, just that little bit of alcohol that just took the edge off. And, I mean, it wasn't something that I used as a crutch, but it made me notice.
So what you're saying is, you know, it doesn't take a lot. It just takes a couple of glasses of wine, and that edge is gone, because it numbs a certain part of the self-consciousness.
I think so, yeah. It just sort of, it makes you not care as much, and, you know, and good and bad both, but it is what it is, and that's what I noticed, is that I didn't care as much when I had a drink. And so after a while, you know, I didn't need to have a glass of wine to go out to a party or a baby shower or to speak in front of a room full of people, which I have done a few times.
Nice.
I realized I didn't need to do that because I was already confident enough. It was just one of those things that it gets you there, it nudges you in the right direction. So I'm not promoting drinking or anything, but it did help me. So
you know what? I have to say, this conversation has taken a turn where I'm loving it, but I just want to back up a little bit. So, we usually don't promote alcohol just in general as a society, right? To get over a problem, because it's always the opposite. It's always like, no, don't drink alcohol. It won't solve your problems. But what you're saying is quite different, and something I've never heard before. So, you've always had drinks and stuff like that, but when you were going out somewhere, because you were so fiercely shy, like deeply shy. If it was right into your 30s, then that means that you were shy.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay, so a couple of drinks, you would notice, like, you wouldn't get drunk out of your mind where you would forget the next day, but...
Oh, no. Well, I mean, I did sometimes, but for the most part, no, that wasn't the purpose of having that initial drink. It was helping, where some people might take, because there was a lot of anxiety involved as well with being as shy as I was. Mm-hmm. And I still have anxious moments, but it's not pervasive throughout my entire every minute of every day. And so, you know, some people might take a pharmaceutical or a pill or be on meds for something like that constantly. Whereas for me, again, just, you know, a little drink here and there was what helped. And it just took the edge off to allow me to, I guess, step over or through the barriers that I had set for myself.
Ah, interesting.
And that's what it comes down to, is that I was prisoner of my own self.
Right.
Right. So once I realized that and was able to know it more than just have it be knowledge that I had, it was like I had to really know it. It took quite a while, but once I was there, I like, yeah, forget it. I'm not doing that again.
Right. And
I like who I am.
Yeah, for real. And I like when you say the barriers that you set for yourself. You're not placing it on society and saying, oh, society was this and that. You're keeping it real. You're cutting it. It's black and white, and you're like, look, those are barriers you set for yourself, and you're not doing that again.
Ultimately, it comes down to what we are thinking inside of our own heads.
Right.
Bottom line, I mean, we can all have different experiences and still be thinking the same thing or feeling the same thing.
Right.
But all the experiences that got us thinking that are all different. So it really isn't the fault of society or the experiences we've had with society or impressions that are made upon us or things like that. It's really what we think our own selves. So,
that's right. Sorry, go ahead.
It's just a way of, it's a mindset, it's a way of thinking, and if you change how you think, then you also change how you feel, so.
Yes.
Right.
100%. Yep, that's what it comes down to. You're right. 100%. There is no other way to cut it. People, what they like that old adage back in the day, they would say you are what you think. You know, so just now what you said, yeah, you know, you hit the nail on the head. But you know, I really love the direction that we took this this interview on. And now I feel like it's an interview. I'm interviewing a reformed shy person. You know,
I'm enjoying this conversation very much.
Are you? Thank you. Thank you. So am I.
Thank you for having me. That's just it made my day, actually.
Really? Thank you. Yeah. You know, I'm thrilled because I was not expecting you to open up like this. I didn't even know the direction that this conversation would go into, and I am like thrilled myself. And also too, it's made my day too. I'm telling you, when I have a conversation like this, of course when I get off the phone it's going to be like, wow, that was really nice. That was great.
I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to laugh at me, you what?
Oh, that's so sweet. You know, but I don't know, did we get all your stories? All your paranormal stories?
The only other story I haven't told you yet was the one where I know I walked through a ghost because the girlfriend that I spoke of earlier who brought her belongings with all the witch lights, and she's an Indigenous person, she was walking beside me, and we had both stepped into the room at the same time. And she had lifted her arm to look at all the hairs that had stood up, and I kept walking 2 more steps ahead of her, and all of a sudden went, oh, like a shudder, a whole body shudder. And I turned and I looked at her, and she said, you felt that, didn't you? And I said, yes. What was that? And she goes, you just walked through a ghost. She goes, it brushed against me. Look at the hair on my arms. So, and it wasn't like a cold chill. It was so different that I can't even find the words to describe it, but it was something that I've never experienced since or before that. So
would it be
and
like
she saw them.
So she saw them?
She saw it. She sees spirits. Like, she will see them. I see them out of the corner of my eye. She sees them directly. Like, they will make themselves known to her.
Right. She
hears the whispers all the time, and she has to block them out and different things like that. So she had seen the spirit there and was... I'm thinking that maybe she was going to say something to me about it, but she lifted her arm, I remember, and I kept a couple more steps forward and walked right through it.
Well, you know, that's interesting. I wanted to ask, now, when it comes to smoke, it didn't feel like you were walking through smoke because that's a little more airy. Now, what about, did it feel like you were maybe walking through a bubble at all? Like, boop, boop, and
it was more inside myself as opposed to on the outside.
Ah, interesting.
So, which, you know, I wouldn't have even thought of a ghost had my girlfriend not been standing there and told me that's what just happened. So, I would have thought that it was just something that happened inside of myself, like just one of those weird things that happens.
So not like butterflies, but more like...
Just an all-over body sensation, but on the inside, not the outside.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. And it stayed with me, too. Like, I could recall that exact feeling for several days after.
Like, every time you take yourself back to that thought, you'd be able to feel that same feeling? Interesting. Holy.
Yeah, almost like an echo.
Right.
That's sort of how I described it to my friend when I was telling her several days later that I could still feel. And she says, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it happens to me all the time. Yeah, no problem. Don't get over it. It's all right. You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like, you're good to go. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's amazing. See, and, you know, just even by the sound of your voice and what you went through, I do believe that introverted children, people in general, adults, even if someone right now, a listener right now, is listening in and they're like in their 70s and they're still shy, it's never too late to get out of it, you know. And, you know, the fact that you were so shy, you did watch people, read people, learn about people. You're probably very smart. Do you read?
Oh, I read voraciously. I eat books like crazy. And I also had a problem for a while where I was hoarding them. I wanted to read everything so much, but I remember growing up, it didn't matter where we went, and I still do it. I'll read everything. I read signs, I read posters, I read license plates, I just read everything.
Yes.
It's just, yeah, and so, yeah, I do. Now that I have my phone with the, and access to the internet, it's like the content is crazy. And when I first got on the internet a few years ago, because I was a late person to get there, but I was up for days, and I couldn't sleep because there was so much content, so many things for me to look at and see and read and learn and absorb, and it was exciting, but it was exhausting too. I had to actually force myself to stop because I was gorging.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
like
beautiful.
I was described once. I've had my daughter, my first child, at 20, and I had a friend who was a voracious reader as well, and he looked at me one day and he said, you know what, you're an information sponge.
Wow.
You know everything. Yeah. So I always remembered him saying that. I was kind of flattered.
Oh, you know what? I sense 100% when I asked you if you read. The reason why is because, you know, you sound like the type of person who couldn't get enough information. Since you were so quiet throughout those years, you know.
I'm still like that, though.
Yeah, and now it's a benefit. You know, it's a character trait. It's not bad at all. And the reason why I ask as well is because when I was so shy during those years, I was also a reader, and then I just started to write. So now I write, and that's why I'm like, you should really have a story to tell, and you should. And just my suggestion, gearing it towards the shy audience. You wouldn't believe how many people are shy. There is, just like there's a range of love, there's a range of shyness. And there's, and you had the most, I would say, if there was 1 to 5 level, you were at 1, and you got to 5 until you broke out of it. You said sometimes you feel a little whatever, but that's normal. I wouldn't consider that as having a shy, complex. And I
think it's more just a nervousness now.
Yeah, and we all have it. I think just human nature, it's good to have.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's good to have that little bit of fight or flight type of, hey, what's going on here? But if you were to...
exciting.
Yeah, but you have the potential to write a book, Garrett, because you have... You're welcome. Your vocabulary is so awesome, and you explain yourself so well, Get on that computer, girl. My gosh, create a book for shy people.
Maybe I will, and
From shy to super fabulous.
You can read it first.
I would love to. I would be honored. Oh my gosh, yes, holy, right? I would be honored, please. And if you need any tips on it, even how to get it on Amazon, and I promote self-publication as online books, and like you said, once you got online, you really just were overdosing on all the information. And imagine for your book to be out there in the seas of people, and they could sell it electronically, so you don't have to make it so expensive for people. If they want a hard copy, you can get like 100 of those printed up and just sell those to people and send them to them. But overall, just your whole entire story and how brave you are right now is even amazing, because a lot of people don't know how to break out of shyness. They just say, oh, that's who they are. It's pretty much unheard of for people to change out of their shy ways. Do you agree?
Well, I do agree, especially nowadays where people are so segregated and isolated with the ability to get whatever they need, whether it be someone to talk to or an item, groceries, anything like that. You can just hop on the internet and get it. You don't have to leave your house. So there's a degree of separation and segregation that has come with the internet and the accessibility of everything. So to be able to break out of that shyness, not just for myself, but for anybody doing so or trying to do so, the importance of being around other people, period. Even if you're in a room by yourself, full of people, you're still interacting somehow. Your energies are mingling and mixing, and whereas you don't get that when you're sitting in your house on your laptop. So,
let me ask you a question, since you brought that up. Okay, so let's say you're by yourself. You are invited to an event. You show up. You don't know anyone there, or you know one person there. Okay, nobody else, either nobody or one person. What do you do?
Generally, I don't even know, because it's different every time. But and I don't do it often. Because again, it's a bit of I still have those unsure moments, and to step out into a social setting by myself is really hard to do. But I do go with other people sometimes. But I don't know. I would probably talk to the first person I saw with a friendly face.
Oh, nice.
And that's
what
generally,
do you mean by funny?
Pardon?
What do you mean by funny? Like, do you mean like just easygoing, approachable?
Yeah,
laughable?
And because I read people well, you can usually see on a face, or I feel people's energy. I can tell if they're approachable or not, and
Perfect.
generally if I'm going to like them or not too before I even say a word to them. So I'll, just maybe sort of wander around and gravitate towards one person, or stand in one place, which I've done before, and as someone may, come over. Maybe I'm standing near the hors d'oeuvre table or the drink fountain or whatever, and if someone comes, I'll say something about something they're wearing. Generally, that's how I break the ice. I remember my uncle telling me that one time. Say something nice about your clothes. And it's worked. So,
right. Nice.
And it makes you feel that even if the person doesn't stay for a conversation, you're still feeling a little more comfortable because now you've interacted with at least one other person.
Good advice.
Yeah,
Good advice.
Individual.
Yep, and when it's like breaking the ice with the room, not just with one person, too. Like you said, there
exactly.
you go. Yeah, and so that's, I would say, hands down, the best advice ever for a shy person walking into a room, because that's really the only thing you can do.
Exactly.
And some people wonder, what do I do? Do I sit here in the corner? Do I go buy the food? Do I wait for someone to talk to me? And
that's overthinking, which I do. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But it's how you talk to yourself as opposed to criticizing. Why don't you go talk to that person? Why can't you do that? What's wrong with you? I observe and I try not to be so critical of myself inside my own self. It takes practice. It really does. So.
I could only imagine, actually, but I could imagine because I had it until 15, but, and because I do believe that shyness is a real thing. Other people are like, oh, they're just shy. No, it is a real condition. It is.
And it's a real problem for some people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so when I was young, and especially my teens, when you're trying to find yourself and figure out who you are and where you fit and different things like that, being as shy as I was, it was actually painful. Because I was the person that desperately wanted to go to that party, would get to the door and not be able to walk in. And I can't tell you how many times that happened. And then, of course, the inner critic and the self-recriminations and the loathing of yourself for not being able to do a simple thing like step through a door. It becomes painful. And that's so. For a lot of years, I was in pain because I desperately wanted to be the extrovert, the life of the party, or the person who didn't feel stupid standing in a group of people, but I couldn't be that person as badly as I wanted to be. So, it was really hard.
Right, and then there's the fine line too, because again, we do want to be a little bit of an introvert. We don't want to have to rely on other people for our happiness, and the fact that you made yourself happy through books, and but again, shyness is a real thing. I can remember if it was just a little thing in my world, I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember I was once shy, but I can remember the point where I wasn't shy any longer. It was actually like a rite of passage, but within oneself. And I was like, what the heck? Okay, this is all I have to do?
It's so easy. Why didn't I do it sooner?
Right? But then, but what you're saying now too, it's, I feel you 100% because it's still, like you said, you can take yourself back to where you walk through the spirit for a while. You could take yourself back to that feeling. I can take myself back to that feeling of being shy and that feeling of when I was 15 and broke out of it. So for me, it was very crippling emotionally, and then I could only imagine for yourself. And so you have a son. Is he shy at all?
He's not shy. He is self-conscious.
Is he reserved?
Sorry?
Is he reserved?
Very. He's highly intelligent. He's very handsome, and I'm not saying that just because I'm his mom, but he has anxiety, which I think, I'm not sure if he was born with it or if I kind of gave it to him. Because I have anxiety, so I'm thinking maybe he just sort of through osmosis or something got it. But he is reserved, but he's very self-conscious. So, and he's an overthinker too, just like myself. So.
And intellectual, so. That,
yes, very much so. Like he's so smart, and not book smart. He's like insightful smart. He's also, I believe he's gifted as well.
And what's his sign?
His Aries as well.
Aries.
Two of us, yeah.
Oh, happy belated.
We're so much the same.
Right, happy belated birthday. It was just just the last one, Aries.
Yeah, in March.
March, yeah. Both of you guys are March?
Yes.
What? Holy. Yeah. Okay. So for those out there listening, Aries is usually April. It begins the end of March. So the fact that you guys are just a couple of days apart.
Well, actually, no, sorry. His birthday is April 6th. Mine's April 22nd. So I was born on the cusp. I have the qualities of both Pisces and Aries, but I'm more Aries. I'm more the fiery ram than I am the frilly fish.
Okay. So yours was when? When again?
April 22nd. His is April 6th. Or sorry, March 22nd.
March 22nd, right.
March 22nd. His is April 6th.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you see, so to have that, you as a mom who was able to even, did you find after you had him, you were able to, did life change for you, or were you still shy after you had him?
I was actually fierce after I had him because a slight backstory. His father was extremely abusive. So when I had him, I went into great big fierce mama bear mode, protecting my child. So that's when it really did change for me. I was still shy. I was still self-conscious and everything, but I had a lot more. I was more brave.
Right. Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I mean, he's my second, so but in the situations between the two, 10 years apart, were completely different. So when I had him, it was fierce, protective mama bear mode.
And that was when he's your older one?
No, he's
the younger one. The youngest, that's
20.
Right. Okay.
He's 20 now, so.
Okay.
My daughter's 30.
Okay. And so the one that we were talking about before, the shy one, he is the 20-year-old?
Yes.
Okay. So, wow, it sounds to me like you have some very good material for a book. Look at me, going right back to the book as a writer. But I will read it, please, because I do believe this. I sense this from you, that when you put yourself together, your head together, when you're like, okay, I can do this. You're like,
yes,
you're
totally.
Like, yeah, I just said.
And it's also a confidence thing, right? I have to feel confident in doing or starting. It's more the start, I guess. Yeah. So.
Yeah, just getting yourself to that mode. But I really pick up that your book would be amazing. It would be. You're welcome again. It would hit all levels of shyness, and young kids who really need it. Middle age, oh my gosh, right to people in their 30s and beyond. And that's really what you have to put that in there, the FU attitude.
Yes, maybe that's what we'll call it.
That FU attitude. And don't be afraid to put the whole FUCK there too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? With some type of money sign for the C, I don't know.
That'd be funny.
Really, because that's what catches people's attention, and they're like, what? What did that say?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it would be too offensive and they wouldn't allow you to, or if you could change one letter to something.
Or pretty sure I could come up with something just as clever.
There we go. There's that confidence. There's that confidence. And I love that. You're right, 100%. So I have to tell you, if you have any time or anything in the future where we can talk about this again, I would love to have you on. Yeah? That would be great.
I enjoyed this very, very, very much.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed it as well. I've never really looked at shyness as something. I keep going back to the shyness thing because it really is a big part of who I was for 15 years of my life that I could remember, my first foundation of who I was. And so for me to break out of that and even be speaking to you, that's why, if you don't mind, I'm just going to say to the listeners, do you mind if I say what you said to me about pre-recording?
No, not at all.
Okay, so Andrea and I put an ad out, and like I was saying earlier, $1 a day on Facebook. If anyone is listening who are business owners and you're wondering if it works, obviously it does from this conversation. Andrea and I have never met before this, never spoken on the phone before this, right? 3 minutes. No, I think it was, we spoke for 3-4 minutes before I started the recording.
Yes.
Right. So they're going to have the whole conversation unedited. I don't need to edit this. Do you agree?
I agree.
Yeah, it's been so fluid, so smooth. I'm like, what? This is so easy. I'm just putting this up on YouTube. People will be able to find the link on Instagram. People will be able to find the link on Facebook, also on the group, spiritsearch.guru, the website, and also people will be able to find this on my personal page. But I'm going to also put this on my soul coaching page as one of my soul coach stories. Because everyone already knows who knows me and reads my soul coaching page. I'm spiritual anyway, and paranormal is of the spiritual world. It's not like talking about different things. So I'm going to put it on my soul coaching page, and people who are shy, they can reach out, and if you don't mind, when they can contact you either on the page Spirit Search Guru on the Facebook page, or they can even contact you privately through email if you're open to that at any time. But I think it's really good for you to kind of like put down your story. Write it down. You have an amazing energy.
You're not the first person who said that to me, and it's something that sort of has been in the back of my head for a while. Life gets in the way, right?
It does, but just as a writer, and people out there listening too, if they feel they have a story to tell, what I find really easy to do when I'm writing something, the who, when, what, where, why, and how. I'll just say who I am, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes I even change it up. Who's going to benefit from this? Change it up, and I'll put who out there would be able to share this. There's always a who, when, what, why, where, and how. When you write something out, you put your point form notes. From your point form notes, you create a sentence. From your sentence, you create a paragraph. And you don't look at creating a whole entire 100-page book. Some people these days especially, they don't want to go through a 100-page book. Sometimes 25 pages is like a nice little document. Bam. They get their tips. They get your story. Now your story, if you're writing about your life and little stories you went through, little anecdotes of certain memories that you had here and there, and little flashbacks, I think would be awesome. Share with people so they can be like, oh my gosh, I went through that too. Like, holy mackerel. And people will be surprised what you came from, because as a reader, I know you said you're a reader too, and that's a reader what I do. I'm a soul coach, as what I do. But I gotta say, they will be amazed at how shy you were. I pick up that it was, like I said, if there was a level from 1 to 10, you were already at a 1. I won't call it severe because I don't believe in anything severe, but you're at the root of shyness. And you grew
it
up,
was pretty bad.
yeah, and you grew out to a tree, you know, a beautiful caterpillar.
I love that analogy. I have an affinity for trees as well, so that's kind of cool that you said that.
Do you? There you go. So you were the root of shyness, and then you came out like a tree. And you know, yeah, I have a tattoo on my body for my family, my personal family tree. I have a daughter and a son, and I have 2 grandchildren. And they're on. I have a woman as the root of the tree. The trunk of the tree, a woman, and her hair is the bushes, and that's the branches that the names are falling from.
I think I've seen actually a picture similar to that, what you've just described, and I'm not sure, but I think I might have posted it on my Instagram.
What? Family tree,
Maybe,
see?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
See, and that's what I pick up around you, you know. But overall, I would love to do a few other shows with you and really target shyness, you know, and not just shyness, but also confidence. Because as a soul coach, if you add me on Instagram, since you said Instagram, I'm Cerise Fairfax on Instagram, CerisFairfax, and I'll tell you, I only really put out inspirational stuff or some of my food that I eat and, you know, my experiences just to kind of mix it up. But, you know, I would really love to connect with you. I would really love to connect with you on a different level, just on a level where you are speaking real stories.
For sure.
Going right into certain situations that you had. If you can write them down, of course, all the stories that you would tell would be protected on air. They would already be published, so they would be, everyone would know they're your stories, and so anything you write and sell and anything like that, or put on your blog, eventually, look at me, I do this to every single person I speak to because I see something around them that is so amazing. I'm like, wow.
It's cool. It's actually really cool.
Is it? Like, what I'm saying to you is it's not pushing you?
No.
Okay.
No, you're giving me actually a bit of inspiration and a bit more confidence to possibly step forward into something different for myself.
Okay, well, you know, blogger.com has free blogs, and all you need is a Gmail address with them. You can create that. It's very user friendly. It's like posting videos and also pictures on Facebook. That's how user friendly it is, and you can just write what you want, and you can email it from your cell phone, or you know, you can put out different stories that you have, and you can publish them on your blog first, and then we can talk about them on the radio show. We can do a whole shy series, you know.
Well, we'll talk about it.
Okay. You're like, no. you gave me a mile.
No, I really like the idea, but I'd like to talk about it further. Can you also text me your Instagram thing, because I just can't write as fast.
I definitely will. I definitely will.
I can find you there.
So this is your phone number that I called you on, right?
Yes, this is my cell phone, and it's the only phone number I have. So
perfect. So I'll text you on this one.
You're welcome to call me anytime.
Oh, that's awesome to know. And what I'm going to do is text you and that information, and I will text you at another time to set up this series. So what I'm going to do is create, everyone listening out there, look forward to especially shy people, because I know there's a lot of people who are shy, and they too cannot get enough information off the internet, and they too watch my interaction on the internet, because on social media, because they know that I'm just trying to inspire everyone. You know, giving people tips and stuff, and I'm so happy I stumbled upon you like this, and you stumbled upon me. This is a great thing.
It was a really, really awesome conversation. I've very much enjoyed this.
Thank you. And again, shouts out to Facebook, because They're awesome. And anyone again listening to this, we're going to do this series, and we're not sure right now how it's going to be planned out, when it's going to start, but you can look forward to hearing information about something that will help you break out of your cycle. And especially if you are a teenager right now and you're shy about things and you don't know how to get out there, I'm pretty sure, Andrea, you and I will have some tips, especially you being a teenager. Right, because there's a lot of 18-year-olds who are out there and they're like, oh my gosh, I just want to be like the 20-year-olds, for instance,
Exactly.
So,
and, they're using substances to mask over their inability to step forward. So, and that's not always the answer.
Exactly. So we'll get to those, and you just keep your motor running in that brain of yours and think about certain shows we can put together, and we'll do a whole series, and you and I will collaborate soon. But now that we gave everyone a heads up, I want to thank you so much for being an awesome guest.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Not a piece of this is going to be edited. I'm just going to put it right out there. All right, we're just going to put it out there. But again, like I promised, I'm going to send it to you first before I put it out there, just so you can hear it. Okay? Alrighty, love. And I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to make it private. Only you can see it, so that means you're going to have to send me your email. I'll text you. You text me your email address, and I'll be able to send it to you as it's private on YouTube. You check it out, and then you tell me yay or nay, and we'll go with it. What do you think? Because you revealed a lot of beautiful, open things, right? That you might afterwards be like, oh, I don't know. But if you really do bring this out, now I'm just guilt tripping you.
I'm pretty okay with all of it.
That's amazing.
I tend to be pretty open that way, so.
I thank you. I thank you so much. Okay, Andrea, we're going to talk soon, and we're going to plan this together.
Okay.
Okay, love. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. If you had a paranormal experience and you would like to share it with our listeners, please email us, whatever your accounts are. We really want to hear them. At spiritsearchguru@gmail.com. www.spiritsearch.guru.